Ladies, hello, and welcome to Woman podcast. I'm your host, Denise Hanks Lawrence, and I'm excited that you have tuned in today to this space that is created for you to uplift, inspire, and motivate every woman on her journey to be her authentic self. Through meaningful conversations, inspiring interviews, we'll explore and unlock self love, faith, spirituality, and discover our identity and hidden treasures while navigating being equipped and mobilized with a passion for fulfilling our God given ordained purpose and destiny for our lives. So get ready, let's talk, and remember there's therapeutic value in shared stories. So here we are today, ladies, episode 42, season 3. So if this is your first time listening, welcome. And if you're a regular listening audience members, then thank you for your support and your continued support by listening, downloading, sharing, and promoting. So I want to invite you to consider becoming a patron. And that what I need you to do is to visit www.patron.com/W2W podcast. So that again, that website is www.patreon.com/W2W podcast. Now, what this will do is that once you become a patron, you will then be helping to support the day-to-day runnings of the show. So jump on over to that website and you can choose a tier to which you want to support us. We have a couple different tiers there, as well as when you purchase our products and services and merchandise, what you'll be doing is you'll be partnering with us to help to support victims, women, victims, and survivors of domestic violence as we partner with the Umbrella Center for Domestic Violence in New Haven, Connecticut. Okay, so again, thank you and welcome again to Women. Happy Wednesday, ladies. Happy Wednesday. Wow, what a historical day it has been today in America. I'm not quite sure when you'll be listening to this, but today, January 20th, yes, historical day. We now have, for the very first time, the first African American and South Asian woman to hold one of the highest offices right now in the country next to the president, and that makes her vice president. Actually, Madame Vice President of the United States. So, irrespective of whatever your political views are and your opinions, today is a win for women. It is indeed a win for women, and we celebrate with her because oftentimes, as women, we tend to bicker and pick at our own and choose at our own, and we're more vicious against ourselves than any other gender there is, really. So it's the time for us to come together and celebrate because it's a small win, but it's a win for a big win, right? I talk about that a lot. Celebrating our small wins until we actually break that glass ceiling. Definitely a win for women on today. So, we want to continue with what we began this month with, starting from this empty canvas and creating this masterpiece for 2021 as we journey towards our destiny and manifestation of 2021. So I spoke to you last week about stepping into our destiny, and I challenged some of you to move from where you are, move from that place of not being able to decide whether to go left or right. And we talk about the difference with procrastination and indecision, right? But today I want to challenge you. I have a couple of questions I want to ask you. And the first one is, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? Have you assessed your environment? Are you willing to step away from your comfort zone? Are you willing to step out of the boat and to step and walk on water? So that's what I want to talk to you about today, comfort zone, right? How bad do you want it? How bad do you want your destiny? How bad do you want to fulfill this life that you have been given, to use every gift and resources, talents and abilities and expertise to deposit everything in this earth before you leave this earth? How bad do you want it? Are you so comfortable in your comfort zone? Are you afraid to leave your comfort zone? See, when you live in a comfort zone, we feel safe. Well, the problem is that this place, in this space, this comfort zone, is not a good place for growth. See, because life becomes predictable. And if you don't go beyond the comfort zone, you'll never be able to become the person that you aspire to be. You see, a few months ago, I was part of a mastermind class, and the material that they used was this John Maxwell book, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. And for me, the book, while the book was great in itself, for me, the takeaway was a chapter that dealt with the law of environment. And what the law of environment taught me is basically it says that if you want to grow, first you have to be intentional about it. So you have to be intentional about wanting to grow. So be intentional about your growth. And then next, you have to assess your environment where you are. You have to look at the soil, you have to look at the air and the climate. So you may ask why. We need to have the right soil to grow. We need to have the right air to breathe, and we need to have the right climate in which to live. So here's the thing, the soil now is what's going to nourish you. The air is what we need to keep us alive. And the climate is what we need to keep us, to sustain us. So we need the soil represents the growth, the air represents purpose, and the climate represents people. So we need the right soil to grow, we need the right air to breathe, and we need the right climate in which to live. So if you're in an environment that is toxic, if your environment is so much of a comfort zone, it's not going to give you that right space to grow. Because if you're always at the head of the class, then what's the point of being in the class, right? That's how you look at it. If you're always at the head of the class, what's the point of being in the class? You're in the wrong environment. And so many of us, we find ourselves in this comfort zone, and the space of safety, it's a space of familiarity. It's a space of, oh, I don't want to take a risk. It's a space of, oh, let's not disturb, let's not disrupt. It's our comfort zone. And for some of us, sometimes our comfort zone becomes that place that holds us back from pursuing even better. We have the capacity for more, but we're not able to go towards that because we're still stuck in our comfort zone. We're afraid to step out and to step out on uncharted waters. And I mean, come in, face it. After all, right? Yeah, this is an unfamiliar space. You're asking me to do something that I've never done before. You're asking me to step out and take a risk. And I know some of us are not there yet, but I challenge you. If you desire more, if you want to grow more, you have to move from where you are. And that means you have to leave your comfort zone. If you don't leave your comfort zone, there's going to be problem with your growth, right? So we live in this comfort zone and we never want to leave because life is so predictable when you're in a comfort zone. So, okay. Some of you may say, all right, I'm not as enthused as you are right now. There's no enthusiasm right here about stepping out of this comfort zone. And that may be a good argument for you. You may say, Denise, I'm fine where I'm at. In matter of fact, you know what? I have a plan. I'm just going to work on me, and that will be fine for me for growth. And I'm not going to argue and dispute that at all. Because even in that same mastermind class, another takeaway that I had is this: when you change yourself, but not your environment, growth will probably happen, but it will be slow and difficult. The second thing is when you change your environment, but not yourself, growth will be slow and less difficult. But here's the third thing: when you change your environment and yourself, growth will be faster and more successful. And that's like the school of thought for the John Maxwell. But I believe in that. When you change your environment and yourself, the two together, that's what's going to give you that power. The two together, that's going to make you go faster and more successful because you're changing. It makes no sense to change your environment and your attitude and your mindset is not changed. It's going to be what? Like doing the same thing over and over again. It's just a different place. And that doesn't really help you because you yourself, you want to grow. So, yeah. Just wanted to drop that in. But, ladies, we often, if you want more, you've got to, if you really want more out of life, if you want to become more, you've got to give more. You have to do more. That's the whole thing. You have to put in what you want to get out. So I challenge you to take it to the next level. And I challenge myself a lot. When you want to take this courageous step away from your comfort zone, I definitely look to the Lord for my directions, right? I have to look to him for my directions. There's this motivational speaker, Eddie Harris, and I quote him. He says, the sooner that's you step away from your comfort zone, the sooner you'll realize that it really wasn't all that comfortable. What? That's deep. I'm gonna say that one again. The sooner that you step away from your comfort zone, the sooner you'll realize that it really wasn't all that comfortable. Let's be real. Some of us we're at what we think is our comfort zone for now, but we're just pacifying it because when you step away, you're like, what? You're like, Are you serious? So it's kind of like that Peter mindset, you know, that Peter mindset. Peter was on the boat. He was on the boat with the rest of the disciples. You know the story. And Jesus was on the water. Jesus made a call to them, but Peter was the only one that, you know, made a move. He answered that call. They all heard it. They all saw Jesus, but Peter wanted more. So that Peter mindset is what I'm working on this year. It's like, you know, Peter realized that when he stepped out of the boat, Jesus called, he spoke to all the disciples, but he said, you know what, I'm going to take action because I want more. I want more. There has to be more than this. I want to be outside of the boat. And so he took that risk to step outside of the boat because he wanted more. Everything that you want in life is on the other side of fear. Everything that you want in life is on the other side of fear. The resources you need to manifest, it's on the other side of fear. It just requires for you to have that mindset, that shift, to shift your mindset and to shift your environment. Now, you may not walk on water for a long period of time because Peter sure enough didn't. But at least you can say, listen, if it's even for a short time, it was worth the shift. I'm telling you, it was worth the shift. There's so many people right now since the pandemic, they took they took a move. They like, listen, I need to grow. I want more capacity, more room to grow. And they made that shift and they're soaring like crazy. Now we're not going to do a comparison thing now because you know comparison is a thief, right? Definitely it is. But I'm just saying, you know, we need to take that shift. We need to take that move. Right. But here's a key thing though. Don't just get up and just decide that, okay, I'm going to just make this shift. Listen, be careful now. Okay. Be careful now. Because in the same Peter analogy that I'm trying to share with you and this Peter mindset that I'm telling you that I'm working with, Peter wanted more. Right. But he knew where he was going. He saw Jesus. So you have to recognize that. You have to know where you're going. We talk about that, having clarity, you know, and he also recognized Jesus's voice. So you better be careful now what kind of voice you're listening to. And so he obeyed Jesus' voice when he beckoned him to come. Right. So in this period, in this time when we're getting ready to manifest, we have to ask for discernment. We have to have a clarity of to where we're going. We have to make sure our navigation system is working and it's on point. You have to put your destination in. Even though your route there may end up with some little detour and some signs say take here, take there, we still have to make sure that we have clarity as to where we're going. What's the end game? What's the destination? And be careful of the voices that you're listening to along this way. You see, Peter had faith enough. And so it was his faith that kept Peter afloat. Fear now kind of kicked in, of course, right? Because you've never been this place. He's never been on this thing. He's never been walking on water. So fear kind of made him sink. But before he could go down and drown, Jesus lifted him back up. So I'm telling you, if you have faith in God and have faith in what he's given you and what he's calling you to do in this year, woo, sis, step out on faith. Come on. Faith over fear any day. All right. Faith is what conquers fear because when you step out on faith, it's faith that's going to keep you afloat. Fear will kick in, yes. And if you focus on that, you may sink, probably. But if you have faith enough in God and he really call you to this destiny and call you towards this purpose, hey, he'll lift you up. Best believe he will. So faith over fear any day. Because I'm at that place where I'm just constantly pushing my limits, just pushing and engaging in activities and resources and things, just tapping and making action because I want to grow. I desire to grow. I must grow in order to fulfill this destiny and this purpose and call upon my life in whatever area. So whether it be spiritual, financially, emotionally, psychologically, any area, I'm saying it's time for us to grow, right? We have to leave our comfort zone, do something else. For example, today, even on today, the same historical day, the young poet who graced the podium today for the 2021 presidential inauguration, she delivered an awesome, remarkable spoken word. Yet it is the same Amanda Gorham had a speech impediment when she was a child. Okay? This same woman that's up there spitting rhyme, just killing it with the spoken word, she had a speech impediment as a child. And in an interview that she did, she was quoted by saying, she said, I had to push beyond my comfort place in order for something to happen. I had to push beyond my comfort place for a change. I challenged myself. And in that same interview in the Los Angeles Times, she said, it made me the performer that I am and the storyteller that I strive to be. What? So she's saying you ain't seen nothing yet. I'm not at the final destination yet. Okay. But it made me who I am, this performer that I am, and the storyteller I strive to be. So your comfort zone can be your enemy. Matter of fact, your comfort zone for many of us, it's our enemy. So, ladies, as I do every week, I'm going to have a call to action. And my call to action this week to you is this: seek directions. Make sure your directions are clear, your instructions are clear. Assess your environment. If you deem your environment to be a place and a space where there is no growth, then make that shift. Make that shift. Make that shift in whatever era of your life. Do something different to get different results. Do something different if you want to get something new. Okay, so please assess your personal growth this week. Be determined whether or not you need to change or improve your environment in order to reach your potential. Whether you need to step out of your comfort zone, step out of the boat. And listen, when you step out of the boat, yeah, you may have someone not be happy about that, but you got to step out, baby. Step out, sis. Step out, queen. Step out today out of that comfort zone. Do more if you want to receive more. Ladies, I just wanted to jump on real quick and just give you that word. We did have something else that was scheduled and pre-recorded to come out, but I mean, for such a day today, it just felt like such a great win for women. And I said, you know what? Let me encourage my sisters. Let me encourage my queens. Let me encourage these wonderful ladies, and let you know that hey, there is room for there is room. There is room. Let's grow. Let's grow together. Let's be intentional about our growth, and you know, develop everything that we have to develop, and tap into the resources we need to tap into to fulfill this purpose of our lives. Let's leave this world empty, okay? Let's not go to the grave with all these gifts and talents and resources. No, sis, let's deposit it now. Let's develop them, allow God to develop them, allow whatever resources He give you, training and seminars and workshops and mastermind, whatever it takes. But you have to have that intentional desire to be intentional about your growth. All right. So, ladies, again, if you enjoy this episode, the best way to support this podcast is by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts, or Apple platform, or any one of those platforms. And you know what I'm going to ask you to do this week, if you don't mind? If you listen to this, can you just please take a selfie and tag me on social media? Yeah, if you go on Instagram, it's W2W Podcast. If you go on Instagram, it's W2W Podcast. It's also W2W Podcast on Facebook. Or you could just look up my name on my regular personal page, and that's Denise Hanks and Lawrence. Please. And then send us also an email at w2wpodcastshow@gmail.com. And also think about becoming a patron today. All right. And that's at www.patreon.com/W, the number 2W podcast. Thank you, ladies. We'll chat next week. All right. Have a good one. God bless. Take care. And remember, we won today. Yes, we did. Yes, we did, sis. Yes, we did, queens. We won today. Woo woo. Bye now. Take care.